Should I have that in front of me, or do you think? You going right now? Yeah. Hello, everybody. We are going live today, and glad to have you with us. Jumping in, being alongside of us today. We're going to take a couple minutes just to see if some people show up and want to take part in this with us today. But I want to take a few moments today just to let you know about some of what's happening around Northgate right now, but also into the summer. So we're just going to take a second, let people come on here. I don't know where you'd be watching from right now, but in the Comox Valley, it's fairly rainy. So it might be a great time to just kick back, enjoy your coffee or tea, or wake up from your nap and come and join us for 5 or 10 minutes just to hear about some of what's happening around Northgate. Yeah, so welcome everyone. See a few people jumping in, so glad to have you. And we'll just take a second and share. It's a couple weeks ago now, Bonnie Henry just shared a little bit about where things could start to go and their 4-stage plan of what we hope to see happening and with gatherings and with churches and things. Soon after, we discovered that churches can do the 50-person gathering if they'd like. And so the ball started rolling. We started really considering, what does right now look like, what does the summer look like, and what does September look like. And so I want to take a little bit of time to share with you what we're doing for the summer on a broad scale, some of what I hope to look forward to in the fall, and then some of especially what could our live gatherings look like. My heart has been really that I don't want to see us make just rash, quick decisions on this. I don't want to feel like we're just running with something that's not as great as any of us want. It's not just sort of a barely a replicable picture of our past or where we've been or what's going on. But I want vision. I want God to stir up something in our hearts that we say, man, He's got something for us. We can believe for it and we can look forward to it. And so that's what the summer is all about. We're excited about it. We're bringing on some summer students this year, and so there are 3 focuses that kind of this summer is going to have for us. The first one is generations. We have a lot going on for our generational ministry, for our youth ministry, for our kids ministry, for our Young at Heart ministry. We're running our first, you just heard about, if you were in the service today, Sunday today, you heard that we're running our very first Northgate Youth Camp this year. We planned that pre-COVID, or sort of in the midst of COVID and trying to fit within the regulations. We're believing that it's going to open up more and more as we get closer, but one way or another, we're going for it. We're running this camp and it's going to be awesome. We also have weekly stuff happening for youth throughout the week, and leadership development things. It's going to be really great. Second thing we're doing for our generational ministry is kids camps, or we're doing 2-day-a-week day camps throughout the summer. And also we'll be doing some park days in there. It's going to be amazing. Our team is writing the curriculum for this camp and filming it and developing it. It's going to be really awesome. We want you to be part of that. And then the third thing that's happening is our Young at Heart is running for a second year their summer camp as well. And so weekly meetings in person, Young at Heart at Riverbend. We did this last year. We're doing it again. So it's going to be amazing. That's not shut down. You know, our generational ministry is actually stepping up and ramping up in a big way. The other thing I want to make sure that you know about, and it's shaping a lot of how I'm making decisions right now, and so I wanted to share with you about it a little bit, is that we're going to use this summer a lot for the fall. We're really believing that September's looking more like there's going to be some level of opening and broader, more people and perhaps less regulations. And so we're really excited about that. So we're launching this fall, not just in Courtenay and not just in Port Alberni, but Courtenay, Comox, and Port Alberni. We did that in October and November. And we're really excited for that, but it's not just going to be on screens. We're prepping now to have live worship in all 3 locations, to have teams designated to all 3 locations. We're talking about what we're calling Northgate neighborhoods, where we really believe we want to have a physical presence in more neighborhoods than just one or two. We don't want to have just massive sort of gatherings that kind of represent a really broad sweeping area, but more and more be moving into neighborhoods, reaching people locally, getting to know the neighbors of the church. And so we're excited to launch into a third location this fall. So we'll be doing online, but then Courtenay, Comox, and Port Alberni. So we got some prep to do for that. Prayerful prep. We'll be doing some prayer walks this year. We've got some worship nights that we're going to be launching out this summer, indoor and outdoor, we're believing for. And we're going to be prepping team. We need volunteers. We need to buy equipment. We've got a lot to do getting ready for the fall. And we're just believing that there's going to be something amazing this fall. We want you part of it. And September can sound a long way away, but it's actually quite close. As we prep for it, it's quite close. And when I think about all that needs to get done by then, I'm like, it's coming, and we're getting geared up. And so get excited with me about what the fall is going to look like for our church and what we can believe for at that time. But I know that many of you, based on you asking me and people coming to me, are also wondering, what about right now? Yeah, we've got an amazing fall coming, an amazing summer with Generational Ministries, but here we are in June. There's some ability to open up and have some live in-person stuff happening right now. What are we going to do for that? This one's been a wrestle for me. To be honest, I just haven't liked the idea of just coming together and watching church in multiple locations. It's been hard for me also to imagine kind of the idea of doing worship without singing, without some of our normal things. And so I feel like going back to just trying to do what we have done in the past, but now doing it with 50 people and without singing, without the lobby time and connections like that, it just didn't feel right. And so we've been, as a leadership team, moving to prayer. God, what do you want to do? What do you want to have happen in this season and in this time? And knowing all along that online has been amazing. We've gotten to see some baptisms happen because people got connected online and are with us. We have people from multiple cities, at least 2 cities beyond where we are right now, saying, when does Northgate start up in my city? And when does the live gathering start up in my city? Because they've joined us online and have gotten so connected to this church that they want to even be members of our church from different cities than we even have physical gatherings. And so something great is happening. I don't want to forget that. I don't want to give up on that. I don't want that not to happen. And so we have that going on. And we also didn't want to have sort of a not as great of a version of the gathering together, but then also knowing that some of you have expressed a real need to be around people. A real desire to just be with the body of Christ, smaller, different, whatever it might look like. And so last week, as I was praying and wrestling this through with our team, actually it was this week, I just wasn't getting there. We had a few days of just wrestling and praying, and God, we don't want to move forward if you're not taking us there. I don't want a service that speaks of restriction more than speaks of vision. Or speaks of our limitations more than it speaks of what God could be doing and what God is doing. And so we finally landed. God landed something in my heart actually while I was driving last week that I'm really excited about. And so on June 27th and then through the summer, we're going to be starting something called Chapel. We're not going to be cutting our online service. We're not going to be changing our online service. It's robust and strong and healthy, and for many people, it's really what they need right now, and it's providing an opportunity to really engage in worship and really engage in a number of things. But Chapel is going to look a little bit different. It's going to take on a reflective kind of nature, one that we probably wouldn't normally do. We probably wouldn't normally sort of try this different style of service because we love the big service and the full lights and the full sound and the full room and all of that. We love those things. And so we normally wouldn't try to not do that, but we're given an opportunity to try something brand new. And so we're going to go for it. We're going to do 50-person gatherings. There'll be registration, and we'll follow the COVID regulations as far as that goes. But the reflective aspect of this is that we're going to have just simple music. Maybe one keyboard or one acoustic guitar and a vocal leading one or two songs to start the service. And then we're going to be running a whole separate sermon series. We're calling it a devotional series, and the series is going to be called I'm Listening. And the goal is that though we'll be running one series through the summer with our online, we're also going to be having this devotional series that says I'm Listening. And if we're going to prep ourselves for a fall, if we're going to prep ourselves as a church anytime for a big move of God, we need to be praying. We need to be hearing from Him. We need to be knowing what He's doing. And I feel like that on a personal level, and I feel like it on a corporate level. And so I want to invite you to consider taking part in chapel. You may sign up, you may jump in, and when the registration opens, and I'll share a devotion. I'll be most of the devotional series taking place, so we will have some other parts of our staff sharing. It's going to be a smaller staff to accommodate for more of you to take part in it. We're just going to run 2 services in Courtenay and 1 in Port Alberni. These will be happening at the regular Sunday morning slot, which I know means a lot to a lot of you. We'll be running our online at the same time. And for the chapel services, after some simple worship, maybe some simple reading, and me giving a devotion, we're going to spend some time in reflective prayer. I want you to bring your journal. I've never asked you to bring your journal to church, but I want you to bring your journal. Not that you shouldn't have brought your journal to church, but I've never asked of it. We've never created the space to journal, but that's our hope for these chapel moments. The goal is like summer camp, when I would sit at chapel for hours after the service and just soak and learn and say, God, what do you want to speak to me? How do I go? And you launch out of summer camp into the fall and say, I'm ready to go. I've got new faith and new excitement and new passion. That's what we want to happen at chapel. We want you to fill a journal and say, look at all the things that God has spoken to me. Look at all the ways that He has drawn something out of me. Look at all the prophetic words. Look at the ways He has caused me to believe. Some of you, it's there He's going to speak calling into being part of the move that God's doing in Northgate through Comox. You may all of a sudden be called to worship ministry where you hadn't been before. You may be called to ministry in ways that you hadn't been before. Maybe that's where God's going to stir up the hearts of people to become youth leaders or kids leaders for us this year, or maybe jumping into an internship. It may happen in those chapel moments where people are saying, I'm hungry and I want to hear from God. And so we're going to make that moment. It's not going to be flashy. It's not going to be trying to look like what our other services look like. Those are still going to be happening online. It's going to be reflection. And then to wrap up that service, we'll have moments of collective prayer for Comox, Courtenay, Port Alberni, online, and wherever else God leads. Believing that we'll be leaving this summer with some connections with each other, but more importantly with some connections with God. We didn't want to and haven't rushed into something that is just a halfway version of what we've all known as the gathering. We wanted something where God could speak. And so if this summer, starting June 27th, you say, I want to hear from God. I want to do that with other people. We're making the extra effort to create a space where that exact thing may happen for you. We're praying that we'll leave the summer into the fall, anticipating a great year, an exciting season, and full of the Spirit of God, ready to chase after whatever He has for us. And so it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you to join us. So this summer our focuses are generations. We've got lots of ministry happening that way. Our launch for the fall, where we're going to be hitting three locations, all with live worship, all with tech teams and ready to go. We're going to need some volunteers for that. And then third, we're going to be doing chapels, where we hope for that camp altar moment to prep us for the fall. So get ready. It's going to be an awesome fall. Thanks for joining us today and jumping in and checking out what's happening. We hope to see you all very soon and have a really great rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.